questions. I'm going to go ahead and try to answer them on Facebook. I'll give people a couple more minutes here. I'm going to actually
put all my
share.
stuff on mute.
I don't know how to do this. Okay. Hey, let's just get this started. What do you think? We're
Let's
recording,
do
right?
it. Yes, I'm on it. Yeah, I'll jump in. Hey, everyone. I'm Savannah. I am a registered nurse. I'm here in Los Angeles, California. I've been a nurse for about 8 years. Started investing in real estate beginning of 2020, started in single family homes, quickly moved into multifamily and syndications. I've been doing that the last couple of years, raised over $3.5 million, mostly from healthcare professionals who want to invest in real estate completely passively. So amazing opportunities there to get started. Love sharing just kind of real estate in general and knowledge and resources. So Alex and I started this group about a year ago to just kind of share and connect other healthcare professionals interested in real estate. So Jordan, super excited to hear about you and your product. I haven't really heard about it, so excited to learn more. And I see you, I hope you talk about this claim to fame of you rescuing 2 dogs as being one of the most viewed videos on the internet since 2017. I hope we get that in your spiel today, but I'll
Sure, always.
I'll let Alex intro himself and then we can kick it over.
Man, raising $3.5 million. I don't know how I could follow up with that, That's pretty impressive.
Crazy.
Hey guys, how's it going? Alex Sabio here, married father of 4 here in Southern California. I invest in luxury short-term rentals. Love talking short-term rentals. It's been amazing for us since the beginning of COVID. 2.5 years later, we're closing on our 6th luxury short-term rental. Hopefully next month in the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee, and that's kind of why I wanted to have Jordan on here. I have these short-term rentals in different markets. I don't know if getting an influencer is beneficial for me, but I really want to hear his take. And I think there's a lot of us that are in the same markets, wondering the same thing, whether it's beneficial. So Jordan, why don't you take it away here? Thank you for joining us.
Awesome. Yeah, no, so great to meet you guys and have you guys welcome me on board. And let me talk about my company that I co-founded back in 2019, in January of 2019. So we're coming up on 4 years. The company is called Stayamo, and it is a marketplace that connects short-term rentals with content creators and photographers. And in exchange for free stays and or discounted stays, you get in return photos and videos and exposure on the creators' platforms as well. And so we have over 1,000 homes worldwide on our platform, growing every day. And we have about 2,500 active content creators. Granted, we've gotten probably over 10,000 applications, if not more, but we go through each home as well as content creator to make sure that just because you happen to have 10,000 plus followers or a blue check mark next to your name doesn't mean you're always qualified to be on our site and be a good fit for the homes as they're seeking. But granted, at the same time, there are definitely different content creators and different style of photographers that aren't for every single home, but to give that variety is very important to us. So I sometimes like to say that we're a bit of a matchmaking service, that we have homes that are willing and interested to work with photographers and content creators. And these are the top tier content creators and photographers that are active in working with and for you.
That's awesome, Jordan. I'm pretty excited to see how this works out and how it could benefit me. How did you come up with the idea of Stayamo?
So I've always worked in media and production. I started my career out at ESPN at the headquarters in Bristol, Connecticut, doing TV production, and then shifted over to the digital team. And then from there, I moved out to Los Angeles to run social media for the NFL, as well as Pepsi, this music festival company. So I bounced around a bit when I was out in LA, but about 5.5, actually coming up on 6 years, December 27th, actually, will be 6 years since I rescued my 2 dogs. I was in the middle of the desert. And so this is the long story for it. And I know that Savannah was asking for it. So I was driving up to the
Yes, we
Grand
want to hear.
Canyon and doing a bit of a road trip, and came across these 2 puppies, and I was documenting my trip as I was doing that. So I have the video of me coming across my 2 dogs that happened to be puppies. And so from there, that video went crazy viral on the dodos, on the front page of Reddit for the next like every like 2 to 3 months, on the front page for the next year and a half, and so on and so forth, and continues to get shared across many platforms. And so from there, with my past of having media and production experience, I wanted to travel and get out more. And so I quit the job that I was at and started traveling and adventuring with my dogs, as this was even before the story even really picked up. And I was finishing up one of my first road trips, and the video went viral. And so I had about 25,000 followers at the time. And this was back in 2017. And I reached out to 2 homes in Joshua Tree and a cabin in Zion, letting them know that, hey, I'm on this trip. I have this big following. People are very engaged in my story. I'd love to showcase your property. And surprisingly enough, all 3 properties said yes, which is so rare in general to just like, get 3 yeses in this situation, especially as I have no idea what I'm doing. And so from there was kind of this spark. And I connected with the cabin owner in Zion at the time, and he said, well, I know a bunch of other property owners in the area. I think they'd be interested. I'm getting a lot of my bookings through social media, and this is also continuing to grow. And over time, there's been a lot of studies that social media does drive a lot of short-term rental bookings. And so from there, about 6 or 8 months later, I met my business partner, and he is in the commercial real estate business, as well as he was running Best of Airbnb and a few other curated sites at the time. And so it was a perfect yin and yang match that I knew content creators, he knew the hospitality space, and he had started a startup in the past before. So he was a little tech savvy, knew that kind of understanding, and we kind of went from there. So that's kind of the start and the genesis of it, that we know both sides and have continued to perfect and poke holes in this niche experience.
Oh my God, that's so crazy how you just went from like this road trip rescuing these 2 dogs, all of a sudden creating this company,
Yeah.
right? This very
Mm-hmm.
successful company. Um, so like everyone's kind of gearing towards like amazing experience-based stays, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of us are like, well, I don't really have anything unique or anything like that. I mean, should we get an influencer in there? Even though there's nothing really unique about my property, like it's just a regular cabin in the Smokies
Mm-hmm.
or something like that.
I think it's so this is some things that we've continued to work with. I think if you have open stays, especially in like during the week and on maybe like not during peak season, that to bring someone in that will stay for about 2 nights to provide you with some content, I think will be really important. But also I think hearing you talk about like, well, it's just it's just a home that, we're not telling people to gut a whole room and drop $50,000 on a renovation. There's definitely some small unique features that you can add to your home, whether it's an accent wall, whether it's a fire pit, whether, just as long as there's one element that can really pop as in photos. So your cabin in the Smoky Mountains, come fall, when all the colors are happening, there is some really beautiful photography that can take place from both outside and inside the cabin that just give people that experience of, oh, I want to go there. I want to experience this. Even if it's like this cabin is just in the middle of the woods and is secluded. There are some people that are just like, get me out of the city and let me just experience nature and quietness. That's what I had some friends come out with me on a most recent trip, and they were just like, we were in Joshua Tree, and they were both coming from LA, and they're like, it's so nice how quiet it is out here.
Mm-hmm.
And even that is just like an amenity and a unique feature that people don't always realize. And I think when working with let's use the word influencer. I don't love that word because there is a negative connotation that comes with it, but people are understanding it that way. I think when working with an influencer, I think it's very important to know both your audience and their audience. So if you're understanding that usually couples stay at your property, get an influencer to come out that's going to create couple content. Or if it's more families, or if it like just kind of understanding who's booking your home to know who to book with, and also knowing who their audience is. Kind of take a look, ask them to send you metrics. There's nothing wrong with that. If they're working with brands and other companies, the brands are asking them for that information. And so, sometimes there are like females on Instagram that are influencers that happen to have like a 98% male audience. And if you're mostly looking for a female book, if you have a mostly bachelorette parties, or just kind of understanding who to work with. Now, I'm on a bit of a tangent, so let me just run with this for a little bit of understanding of working with influencers. Don't get duped on the fact of they're willing to just give you one photo on their page for the exchange of experience. The value add that working with content creators, and especially photographers and influencers, is that their ability to create lifestyle content for you. And so the value add that they provide, if you have an available Monday through Wednesday, Tuesday through Friday, we usually say do 2 nights, at most 3 nights is really where you can max out. Some homes are, as you build relationships, they get 4 nights, maybe it's like 3 free nights and a couple discounted. However you decide, each situation is different. But in return, to get a folder of photos, 15, 20, 30 photos, maybe 15 photos and a couple walkthrough videos that you can consistently post. You can update your booking sites. You can update all of your platforms. That is where the value add comes in here. So not just that, like, yes, those photos plus the exposure on their page, it is a full package thing. Plus you're getting we encourage people to book through, whether it's Airbnb or VRBO, so that you get a 5-star rating on top of that increases you and pushes you up in the algorithm. So it's this whole marketing push that we have, that we've kind of understood, and how we're trying to work with these homes and with the creators.
Yeah. So can we dive into the numbers? I mean, as real estate investors, I'm looking after the numbers, right? So what do you do for people's bookings? Like, what have you seen this kind of do?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have one of our like top tier homeowners. He is a management company, and he has about 25, 30 homes in the Joshua Tree market. And what he does is every time he gets a new home, for the first 2 weeks before it goes live, he has influencers come out, and through these lifestyle photos and the continuation of being active through social media, he consistently like builds out these homes. And every home is different. Every home has a unique feature, one side or the other. Like, the more unique homes continuously book out a bit more, have that audience. But what lifestyle photo provides, you get this more understanding from a booking side of things, of people putting themselves in that space and wanting to book more. And so we've definitely seen bookings increase through working with influencers and working with creators. And like I said, there have been studies and consistencies of that, the younger generation and just people find out about homes that they want to stay at through social media versus through just like browse. It's not as simple of a browser. The way the algorithm works with Airbnb is not that like tightly curated search. So I can speak on a broad sense that we have seen a lot of homes grow. There was a home in the Catskills that doubled their booking as well as their up their pricing until they sold it in March of 2021. And just like the homes in Joshua Tree as well, those are some that stick out in my mind.
Yeah, I love it. It's kind of like having a soft open, right? Like if you have a business, you're doing a soft opening and you're getting all of those amazing reviews. 2-3 weeks in, you could probably have like 10 5-star reviews already. And not only
Yes.
that, a lot of these influencers, I mean, they take really good photos. I mean, I think I have I think I take good photos, but when I see like these younger generation people, like they're extremely creative, right? And I think even just for me, like my photographers in the Smokies, I pay them $400, $500, $600 sometimes.
Hmm.
And that's almost equivalent, right? If you're giving free night stays and you're getting the 5-star reviews and you're getting amazing content that you could repurpose on an Instagram account. I think I heard this at a podcast that you did that um, people want to be, people aren't very creative, but they want to
Yeah.
be influenced, right?
Uh-huh.
And the influencer will pretty much sell the experience to the guests. So
Yeah. So what we've seen also in terms of the increase in booking is that the majority of like hotels, as well as like the Airbnbs and the short-term rentals, they just have open space of the homes, and the homes are beautiful. And a lot of homes can just, if you have a very unique home, you don't always need a lifestyle like photos in there. But like I said in podcasts and consistently around that, is that people aren't, it's a very copycat experience. That's what humans are, is seeing other people do stuff and then replicating that over time. And so when we see someone sitting and having like I said, it's something as simple as having a fire pit and going around there and having s'mores, and use the Smokies as well, being like, I want to do that with my friends. Let's go and book that and do that and have this same experience. I want this like nook in the corner of this house. This looks beautiful. I want to sit there and lounge there and have this experience. I want to sit on this porch and do that. So you just kind of need one feature in your home that you can showcase and continue to build on that if your home isn't the most unique thing. So giving people, whether or not it's the general experience, but allowing people to vision themselves in that space and creating almost like FOMO around it so that they want to be able to do it. Because it is a long play when it comes to working with creators and getting the bookings. So a lot of it you see on social media, a lot of creators and influencers being like, buy this product, and they can push that product, but that's a $20 product that has storage somewhere and goes out. Your home only has 365 bookings a year. And so where are you located? What is the price that you're willing to do that? How convenient is it to travel to that location? So it just takes a little time, and that's where the social media build and updating your photos, both in the booking sites platforms as well as social media, take some time, but there is a slow burn with it, but we have seen growth along the way with it.
Yeah. Can you walk through maybe logistically what it would look like to use your
Mhm.
services and get onboarded on the portal, and kind of how it works on a user end?
Yeah, of course. So as of right now, we are a free platform. And so that's where the new premium features are coming in, where you would pay to search maybe a little more intensely, or having our specific hand-on curation come into play. But just as a general, to get onto our platform, it is free, and to engage with the creators, it is free. So that is something that we like pride ourselves on. From there, so you upload your home, and then you have the option to either reach out to creators, or creators will reach out to you. And as you upload, you are on the front page of our marketplace. Like I said, it is like a connection point. So from there, you exchange information. Hey, I want December 5th through 8th. I see that you have that availability. Okay, great. Let me look through. Let me make sure that this is right. Let me look through your stuff. So once that is all set up from the logistical standpoint, we encourage you to book through, whether you want the 5-star rating with Airbnb, with VRBO, or if you have your own booking site, whatever you want to push through on that. So that way, both there's insurance on this, there's incentive being held for the creator. So whether there's a hold of a cleaning fee, or whether there's just a general, hey, pay this, and when I get my deliverables, I will pay you back. We think is really important, so that no one gets burned in the situation. And very rarely, if ever, we have seen that take place. But just holding these little best practices is what we've seen work that makes people most comfortable, especially on a first time collaboration. And so from there, the collaboration happens. And so there's communication with the host and the creator of, hey, I want 15 photos and these amount of videos, as well as like a post on your page in exchange for 3 nights at my house, 2 nights at my house, depending on how that is. And so then the folder of photos are exchanged. Sometimes creators are like, hey, here's the folder, here's 50 photos. Pick your 15 favorite. And then, the host gets to choose those 15. And then afterwards, the creator's like, hey, for the 35 others, if you're interested, I usually charge this much, but I loved working with you, so I can give it to you for, Alex, you had mentioned that you usually pay like $400 to $600, maybe it's like, hey, for $200, I'll give you these extra photos because I had a great time. I'd love to stay at your other home. So each process is different, but what we've seen best practices, that's how they get introduced and they get connected that way, and holding them accountable through the booking sites, as well as whether there's the cleaning fee that you're charging and that there's that, or an added fee just to hold the incentive there so that you get your deliverables in a timely fashion.
So it's pretty fluid, right? Like you're pretty much negotiating with the content creator.
Mm-hmm.
Some stays can be free. Some of them, like you said, can still have the booking fee, and there's some of them will create videos, right? So it's completely different, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
If it's like, hey, there's a group coming to your house and your house sleeps 8 to 10 people, and you're like, listen, I can't swallow that cleaning fee or whatever, and for 10 people to cover a $250 cleaning fee or whatever it is, it's not a big deal to create this content and just stay at your home that is probably beautiful and creating this experience for them because they're trying to continuously create content. So there is this give and take. And I think understanding, like I'd like to say that we're probably like 65-70% for I used to say it was 51-49, but people I was just trying to say that we do favor the homes more than we do the creators, and just understanding that these are your properties. Like this is a value that you are holding on to that isn't just a camera and a large following on social media. So we do want to make sure that the homes are doing the right thing and making sure that we have never had an experience where someone has gone and treated the house poorly or having a situation like that. Like I said, every creator that comes on board, we review and make sure that their content meets that, and there is that understanding that these are people's properties, and they know that.
What are you seeing that you're attracting in an Airbnb host? Like, who are you seeing successful? What do they have that they're doing or using on your platform that are making it beneficial for them? What are you seeing there?
I think there's the consistency of working with creators. There's a lot of times we see people work with a creator once, and then there was just and they didn't it's wanting that overnight success from that and expecting there to be, hey, this creator happened to have 150,000 followers, so I'm going to get 5% of those followers on top. And so 5% of that, and then 1% of that are going to book. And it's just not how that works. Unfortunately, like I said, there is a bit of a slow burn, but there's the consistency of, hey, I have a free Monday through Wednesday. I have a free weekend on a down time that, people aren't often traveling, that the value that those photos bring in to consistently get involved in the algorithm and bringing people those bookings over time by having lifestyle and general showcasing the home. So updating different things of the home, we see it a lot, whether it's small art pieces, like I said, an accent wall. I don't want to come in here and be like, hey, you have to gut your house. I know I said that before, but I just really want to emphasize that. But not viewing it just as well, this is a vacation home. This is a secondary. It's booking out, 50% of the time. I feel good. This is bringing me enough, when you can really upgrade that through working with a photographer and a content creator. What we recommend is probably quarterly. And I think through working with us and the strategies that we're telling people to do is work with small creators first, who are willing to take a free stay and that are willing to hustle for you to provide you this beautiful aesthetically pleasing social media account as well as your booking sites, so that when you are ready and when you feel comfortable to work with a larger creator, that those eyeballs will create a larger following and more bookings. We learned early on, we got super excited. We were working with a big creator who had about 2 million followers, and he went to this cabin in Lake Arrowhead with a couple of his friends. They all had like 50 to 150,000 followers. And we're like, man, we're going to blow up this house. This is going to be great. It's going to be amazing. They got so much traffic to their page, like more than they've ever seen in their entire lives. However, what we saw is that they didn't grow in following because their page was just photos of their dog in the cabin. It wasn't really showcasing what this house had to offer and people living in the house and being in the house and the experiences that people have. And so that's how you grow an audience, is when you drive traffic to that, is people understand what they're going to see. Wow, this house is beautiful. I want to follow this, to remember this, to book for it because I have a vacation next weekend. Oh, they're already booked out, but I definitely want to down the road. And there's that slow build that comes with that. And so the homes of understanding the patience and the growth that comes with it. And like Alex was saying, is that if your cost benefit analysis evens out in this space, that, hey, I was going to pay 600, 700, 800, like photographers charge a lot for their skill set. But if you can even that out when you had this open space in your house anyways, and you can get these 5 stars, you can get this upgrade in updating your photos in these booking sites, which boost you in the algorithm. There's a huge long play benefit that comes with that.
Yeah, definitely. So kind of in influencer marketing, I'm not super familiar with it. What type of metrics are you looking for influencers? Like obviously follower count is one of them, but what else are you looking for to determine like what would be a good influencer?
Yeah. So yes, everyone gets excited by the large number and sometimes the blue check mark and the K and however many they have. And I think you can tell. One thing is just like there's a bit of a ratio that you can see of how large of a following they have and what kind of engagement they get is kind of a telltale sign. But also, like I was saying, the strategy of working with some smaller creators. If you see a creator who takes beautiful photos and unfortunately only has 5,000 followers, 3,500 followers, but you love their aesthetic and they're super talented, there's nothing wrong with working with them because they're willing to hustle for you that much more. There's less pretension that comes with that they're wanting to grow their portfolio and work for you, versus oftentimes, like I said, there is a negative connotation with considering, like, if you honestly, the biggest red flag is someone who says that they're an influencer on their page. The biggest influencers in the world will not refer to themselves as influencers. So right then and there, you can tell that is not someone that you should be working with, or someone who doesn't really have the social self-awareness. I think the people who create really great content, who the metrics that you're looking for and asking is like, like I said, is that, do females usually book out your cabin? Is it some homes are like bachelor party or bachelorette parties, and that's okay, and they keep the house respectable. I'm not saying like you're a party house, but is it groups of friends? Is it couples? Is it just, how big does your property have? And asking people for that information of like, is your home in the United States and the majority of their audience lives in Brazil? Maybe not the bet. Like, you're not going to see that return in the way that you would if they have a large United States, or like, the Smoky Mountains is like, maybe working with a Tennessee creator makes more sense here than just working with, flying someone out from California who happens to, have a large following, and you're excited because they have 400,000 followers and want to stay at your home. Yes, they'll bring you beautiful photos potentially, but there might be a more value add to bring someone who the conversion rate, like we have homes that are in Argentina and all that it's going to take 8 hours to fly and then a 2-hour bus ride. And so in exchange for that isn't that same value add as the conversion rate that you're going to get the way that Joshua Tree has with, let's say, like Los Angeles or San Diego residents. So working with a Southern California content creator might bring more value because there's a likelihood that their audience is in that vicinity. So asking them questions like that, like I said, is that you're a business, okay? And if they know working with other businesses that giving you their metrics is part of the business. And so asking for them that and looking into that, and sometimes just getting photos in return is the value versus like, no one can guarantee you the follow count in return. It depends in every situation.
So there's a ton of like fake followers out there. I know Savannah gets fake followed all the time and all these fake accounts. I mean,
Yeah.
how are you like vetting that it's like the right influencer? And my other question to that is there any way you can rate the influencer or content creator on your guys' site?
Yeah, so that's one of the features that we are adding is like a Yelp review type of experience of like after working with them to be like loved working with them. And we also have an element in our platform that showcases past collaborations. So the influencer can put on their profile past homes and projects that they have worked on so that you can see that. Unfortunately, part of the game, part of the internet is the anonymity and sometimes the bots. And so one of the things that you can look at is the ratio of their engagement. Unfortunately, on Instagram, there is probably like anywhere from 3 to 10% on the high end of like engagement rate. And then there are the crazy, like over the top influencers that are getting like 30 to 50% of their follower account, like engaging. So you can kind of tell if someone has like 100,000 followers and they're getting, I don't know, averaging like 500 likes on their photo and like 3 comments, on a consistent basis. And you're like, okay, something's up here. That this seems a little fake. And so, and also like the quality of their content. So once again, the big focus for you is the content that you're getting in return in that folder and that Rolodex that you can slowly roll out on your page. On top of getting them to post on their pages, yes, the more eyeballs are very beneficial, but we've seen one of the homes that we work with it wasn't even a collaboration. It was literally just this girl doing this bachelorette trip at this house that is on our platform. She has like 200 followers on TikTok and it got 2 million views because the house is beautiful. And she just happened to be like, here's a getaway in Joshua Tree at this house. And so it popped up on my For You page. And so there's always these value adds that come from it. And to not get so bogged down on the idea of someone's follower account versus the quality of the photos that you're going to get in return to build out on that. So once you are ready to potentially work with a larger influencer, if you want to pay them to come stay at your house, I think that is the best strategy that we've seen versus just like going 0 to 100 of having some 400,000 followed influencer come stay at your house, then hoping that pops off, because you do need that foundation and that basis to really grow your audience. That's what we've seen the most. Does that make sense? Am I?
Yeah. So what are you doing on your end for like Stayamo, you marketing to get like the best contributors and to get the best Airbnbs on there? Like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, I mean, jumping on podcasts and letting people know, like I said, it is an application process and just kind of seeing. And I think also working with some top creators and curated sites to get our name out there. Like the same way we're doing the same kind of strategy of just kind of showcasing, hey, you want to travel more, you want to stay at beautiful places, like if you're up and coming or if you're established to get to do this. I think it's always, people are constantly coming to me and asking me, hey, do you have any homes here? Do you have homes here? And I really try to push them towards just using the actual platform, because people are active and they're wanting this. People want to feel love.
Oh no, did he cut off?
Okay. I saw that
There
it
you go.
froze. Okay, sorry. Everyone wants to be told that they're pretty or that they bring value, and so both from a home side and an influencer side, I think we're just continuing to find people who are willing and interested to travel more and create and be of value add to the homes, as well as bringing on homes that are interested in wanting to grow their marketing arm and their property and to book out and see that success. And so there is an education side on our end because it is nice to see that there is a younger generation of people getting into the vacation rental game, because early on it was a huge pulling teeth, and each home that we had to bring on was an education process of like, here's the understanding of what it means to work with an influencer, and what social, like the value of having even just a social media account for your home. A lot of people are like, what is that? So I think people understanding the space, and I think there's an education arm in our marketing strategy of telling people the value that it means to be on social media, have working on a marketing side of the digital, being active on the booking sites and working with the right creators, because there are both guys and girls on Instagram that are not always the right fit for your home, and each home is different in what they're seeking.
Jordan, is there like a search feature on your guys' website where, like, let's say I'm trying to market my home as pet friendly and I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
for Jordan Kana, I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
for that content creator that is marketing to pets, or it could be like families. Like this is a YouTube family that
Mm-hmm.
has like, so do you have that search feature there yet? Or even like different regions, like I want to get someone in Tennessee or Alabama
Mm-hmm.
or LA.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So that is one of the biggest things that we were focused on in this new site. So we just we just updated the new site, and as people are relogging back into their profiles, we have a feature that are like, click the whether are you lifestyle, are you travel, are you pet friendly, are you family, are you, so that people can start searching that and re-asking people where they're located. And so one of the features that we are starting to roll out is those search functionalities to specify as a homeowner the searching for the right creator. And also on our site too, on top of that, there are the analytics of where their followers are and what the age range and the percentage of that. So it's kind of like public knowledge anyways on our site. And so I know I was saying for you guys to ask the creators that, but also we're trying to be more public and transparent with both our creators and our homes.
Well, yeah, that'd be awesome. The other thing that I'm worried about, because I do these virtual stays all the time to try to get reviews, is just
Mm-hmm.
getting caught by Airbnb if something looks fishy. Because if you're trying to exchange, like, a service, like, hey, you could stay here for free, it looks like
Mm-hmm.
someone's staying there for $0. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's one thing I'm worried about.
Mm-hmm.
With the communication with is there a workaround with that, or
Yeah, so
what do
there
you
is a word.
recommend?
Yeah, so that is a big thing, and that is where we try to work around as well, because the communication like that on Airbnb will definitely flag your account. We tried early on too. I had to go through like a 48-hour wait period and like send a special email being like, yes, I'll never use that language again. I'm so sorry. Terms of service and all that. So what we've seen and what I've done in the past, specifically even with my stays, is oftentimes you reach out via Airbnb of like, hey, I'm interested in staying in your property during these days. And then you follow up, yes, you can stay here, and you discount the rate, and not so that it's like $5 a night, something that might be a little like on the lower end, that you're like, hey, book this and I'll Venmo you it back. I'll PayPal it to you right back, or something along those lines, where it's like, hey, just upfront, And at the same time, if you're willing to do a free stay, and if this is the first time that you're working with them, this is the incentive that you're willing to hold of being like, hey, pay this. It's a lower rate. And once you deliver everything, I will then give you back. It's like, hey, this at least covers the cleaning fee that if you don't deliver this because this is your first time. And I don't have a concern on our creators that have that. But when you're working, this is a business. We don't want anyone to get burned. There's a comfort of like, at the minimum, my cleaning fee and team is covered. And, if they don't deliver the way, or if I'm unhappy with the photos or something, whatever it is. And I can't imagine that being the case. But we recommend doing something along those lines of just doing it and paying them back right away, or saying, hey, once I get all the deliverables, I'll send this back to you. So so if you can do just like a little bit of a discount or something along those lines, so that they're not holding that on their credit card for a really long time, or a super high price or something along those lines, some sort of mutual thing. And, if you're doing it once a quarter, I can't imagine Airbnb flagging that, every now and then. I'm sure you have like family members staying at your property or whatnot, that you still want the 5-star reviews and all that with the open space. So, it's not that rare on the site. But if you're doing it, like if you're doing it every other week, there's definitely going to be an alarm. Yeah,
because sometimes if you just say like PayPal or something like that, I think it flags it.
Yeah.
Right?
So all that that's why we're trying to connect you guys offline, so that communication happens both on, so that communication does not happen on Airbnb. So on our site, and if you offline it as well via email or phone number, that via phone, like that is where you're like, hey, just request this. I'll give you a discounted rate, and we'll, don't like emphasize, if you're super concerned of being like, hey, don't mention anything. Just be like, hey, I'd like to stay at your place. I look for, it looks beautiful. And then you respond, great. Can't wait. And you adjust the price that way. Yeah. So that communication does not happen on Airbnb at all. And that's why we're connecting you guys beforehand, and however you hold the communication, whether it's still on our site or if you offline that.
Do I have to pay anything to Stayamo, like with the connection of the influencer or content creator at that point? Because I know I signed up for free there, and I'm like, well, but maybe like, is that where the premium services come in?
So that's where the premium services come in. And the way that we do a lot of consulting for different homes, whether or not it is managing their collaborations or just managing their social media as a whole. That is where a lot of our income over the last 3 years has come into play. Granted, we've had low overhead. So we've invested a lot of our own money into this business. And I think also because we are a new product in a space, that poking holes and figuring things out of what works and what doesn't, like I said, 51-49. And now I'm confidently saying that we're up to like 65-70% of the homes, and learning that there's a lot of learning that needed to be done. And by being a free service, allowed us for a little more wiggle room versus working with people and charging them. And them, like I said, there wasn't a lot of people that were upset, but as you're working and doing some learnings, it'll allowed us to have a little more wiggle room and trust with the homes and the people that were on our site by being free of charge.
Yeah, makes sense. I love that. So how does it look now? How many influencers do you have on your platform? About how many properties? About like how many transactions do you see in a day type thing that they're using this? What does that kind of look like?
Yeah, so we have close to 1,000 homes worldwide, and have close to 2,500 creators that we have approved. Like I said, we have had over 10,000 applications, if not more, and just not everyone. A lot of them, not everyone is the right fit, and so making sure that we are a special place for both the creators. We see upwards of like 20 to 30 messages go out a day, if not some more than others. And it is just a lot of coordination that takes place. So I would say, there's probably like a collaboration a week, every other week, depending on the time of year. There is a little more popularity, especially because we start in LA, and a lot of our creators are based in LA. So high season versus low season in Joshua Tree. Low season, we do see a lot more collaborations take place. Yeah, just the willingness of the homes and the understanding and the finding the right matches. It's almost like a dating service of just like making sure that it's the right fit, because not every creator that reaches out to a home, just because you have that available space, do you have to work with that creator if you don't feel like it's a right fit? So the messages go out, but so yeah, probably like 20 to 30 messages, maybe, if not, probably a little like more, and then figuring out the collaborations that happen from there. It takes a little bit of a process, but sometimes like I coordinated one for a guy next week in Joshua Tree just yesterday. So sometimes it moves really fast, but we definitely recommend and emphasize for the creators to give it like a month in advance, give some wiggle room, not like on a Wednesday, reach out to a home being like, do you have availability Friday? Like, can I come? Like, there's got to be a little bit of a connect if you haven't worked with this home before, and a little bit of, hey, let me think through this, and because like I said, it is your property. You have to look through and make sure it's the right fit.
Jordan, do you have any more advice to give like the newbie that's looking to sign up with you guys? Like, what are other mistakes that you see? Like, how do we get the biggest bang for our buck here? I mean, I guess it's free, initially. So you're getting
Yeah.
pretty good bang for your buck already. So
Mhm.
how are we going to maximize? And you kind of already talked about maybe starting small, but you have any other tips for us?
Yeah, I think be willing to be patient first and foremost. I think working with small creators, I think being active and reaching out yourself. Like I said, everyone wants to feel pretty and be told that they can provide value. So I'm sure we encourage the homes to reach out to the creators just as much as the creators reach out to the homes. And I think when you have availability on a Monday, like I've been saying, a Monday through Wednesday, that's a slow time for you guys, or even if it is a higher time, a Monday through Wednesday is probably less likely to be booked out to, hey, let me get some content. Let me build, maybe this is a relationship of someone who's going to do really great things for you. And be active on social media as well. So taking that and being assertive and understanding of the value of what your home is providing them. I know that they often charge a certain amount for posting on their page, but this is an exchange of goods, and this is a business at its core, and that's what we're emphasizing to the creators. Early on, we saw a lot of messages that were like, "Hey, it's my birthday. I'd love to come out," and I'm like, "Stop." Saying the home does not need to know that it's your birthday. This is a business transaction. And so, like I said, it's an education on all ends and working through that. And so I think just being patient and building out your portfolio of photos and creators that you feel confident working with, because there are some super talented people on our platform.
So, like, I'm a real estate investor, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I guess one of my ideas is to go to these different short-term rentals and kind of highlight the actual owner. Uh, do you find anyone's doing it to try to pump up like their business? Like, hey, this guy's doing short-term rentals well, follow this guy for more advice or something like that? Or is it mainly like for the content creation with the photos or whatever, the
Mm-hmm.
Instagrammable photos? Have you started seeing any of that happen?
Yeah, we mostly like the main emphasis for us is to highlight the homes. in any which way. If
Not
someone
necessarily
wants,
like the business, like, hey, this guy's running an amazing business, or because there are
yeah,
different YouTube channels. They're like, hey, this guy's making this much money. You know what I mean? So I'm
sure.
looking at
So
it
so
at that
so
angle.
depending on the creator that you're working with, if you do, like, we have been shouted out with like Robuilt before, and like Mike Will Travel and all that kind of good stuff, and Bigger Pockets and things like that, of like working with bigger people. And so if you that's finding that creator that you want to work with that creates that kind of content. If you want to be highlighted and featured and talked about on how that works, then find that creator and work with them. But for us, like, the big focus is people who will showcase the properties, because the big emphasis for us is seeing those homes increase in social media following, increase in their booking rates, increase in their general booking overall, to see that growth. But yeah, that's up to you and what the creator puts together and what kind of content they make.
Yeah, I was just trying to get a free stay.
Sure, you can do
And
that. Yeah,
maybe,
you never
maybe,
know. Reach out.
yeah,
People are very,
maybe,
yeah, that exchange.
maybe we could host one of our weekly meetups there or something like that. But
Exactly. No, that's brilliant for sure. Whatever value at, like I said, it's an exchange of goods. So whatever you can
right,
provide them, like, you never know.
right. Does anyone else want to jump in here, ask any questions? Your opportunity to jump here and talk with Jordan.
Yeah, I have a question. Hey, Jordan, thanks for coming on. My name is.
Yeah, for sure.
I saw one of your videos, and when Alex posted a meetup, I wasn't sure exactly what the purpose, what the objective is of your business. So I saw the video of you showcasing the house,
Hmm.
the Jeep. It was a house that kind of square. It was, and I thought, so I was watching through your video, and I wasn't quite sure what you were doing, but then I'm pasting together that you're gonna essentially I volunteer my place for your content creator to come and perhaps stay, and then they create content to market my house. Is that
Yes.
essentially what the business model is?
Yeah, the business model is working with a photographer and essentially, like, in a free exchange, because like Alex had mentioned that he was paying upwards of like $400 to $600, if not more, especially depending on who the photographer is. So if you have these open nights anyways, is that the big focus is that your home gets these marketing assets for you to use. And these are photos and videos that you put on social media. These are photos and videos. I don't know if Airbnb and VRBO allow for videos yet, but either way, the photos to like boost yourself and update your booking site photos and profile and portfolio, and then also get that increase, that boost in the algorithm of the rating for the stay. So it's showcasing your home on a social in social media, and so they will hopefully post on their page because your home is a beautiful experience and they got to get away, and they're a content creator. So they're going to be showcasing their general experiences, as well as you getting a folder of content that you can then slowly put out.
So how, because if I hire a personal photographer, I sort of, my wife and I have a sort of control on what content is being photographed. We can do a setup. So what control do I have, or is it solely based on whatever content your creator wants to create?
Yeah. So I think, I mean, depending on your home and if there is like certain areas that you're trying to showcase, you can definitely recommend the creator when they're at your home to be like, hey, we just installed this in our backyard. We'd love for you to highlight that. Or just, I think they're called creators for a reason. And so to give them a little creative freedom usually provides for the best kind of content. And so like I said, do your best vetting that comes with it and understand the exchange that is taking place and the value that you're getting in return. So we definitely encourage you to recommend and suggest, hey, I want to see these kind of photos come out, or like, we just installed a fire pit or whatever it is, so that they can then know to do that. And usually it's been very, very successful in terms of that, as opposed to, like you said, working with a photographer that you're kind of hands-on with.
Okay. Yeah, this is such a new marketing strategy that, it's
Yeah.
sort of like an exchange for goods.
No, and it's really important. I think the thing that you need to push is getting photos in return, and that is like 15 to 20 plus photos, and usually they're gonna over deliver anyways, because the amount of photos that you can get and it being digital. So making sure that you're getting like 15 to 20, and then definitely some walkthrough videos, and a lot of people have drones now, so if it's accessible for them to fly a drone and get some aerial photos, especially like I just stayed in Asheville, North Carolina during the fall foliage, and they were big focused on the drone photos that I took, and so to showcase that. But the big emphasis is a social media push for your home, and because people are finding out about properties and wanting to travel so much through social these days.
Okay. And how would I know what content creator has the most follower? Because for me, I want the most, I guess, view as possible, right? I mean, isn't that the exchange? I provide a nice place, and as return, you get marketing.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, like their account is their Stayamo account is connected to their Instagram account as well as their TikTok account. We are now starting to implement that because TikTok is being it is a cultural shift that is taking place. So we have to adapt as well. And seeing how many followers they have and if that fits the demographic that you are looking for. Like I had mentioned throughout this is, yes, it's exciting to work with someone who has a really large following, but sometimes early on, if you haven't even launched your social media pages yet, working with smaller creators brings a large value. Those micro influencers who have that very engaged audience that also create beautiful photos and beautiful content that allows you to have this foundation and this stepping stone that when it is time to work with a larger creator to get the most eyeballs possible, you're ready and you retain that audience.
I guess for me, it's like when I bought my place is in India, is literally right across the Coachella Music Festival.
Yeah.
And so that's like the biggest money maker in that month, And so and the thing about India is that you can market to like snowbirds doing like October, November, December, but starting January to April, the stagecoach is all this concert. So I do want my property to be showcased because that I'm looking at maybe mid-30 or late 20 age group.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of those, and I think that's important to know the demographic for that. And so I think now is your window of time to create those collaborations. So if your house isn't booked out, once again, like booking out for Coachella probably pays for your mortgage for the year, I'm sure, or something along those lines. I've heard outrageous numbers for that. So finding a group that, finding a creator and working with them that can bring a group kind of aesthetic to showcase, hey, come and stay here. And we're in Indio, California to showcase that will be the right strategy for you and your home in this down period, knowing that, that March, April, May is a peak time for you and those big groups.
Okay. That can be a pretty good business model on my end, just to get some exposure, because I'm launching in 2 weeks, and I got it. I haven't, thanks to Alex, I started my own IG account. I'm posting live video, but that's something I need to make myself more present, social media present. And I think this is your business model might be something that might be a good jump start.
Absolutely. Yeah. And after this, like, feel free to reach out. I'd happy to help you out and coordinate something for you or connect you with some of our top tier people who live in the Los Angeles area that could probably bring a group out and create some really awesome photos for you.
That's awesome. That's cool. Okay.
You bet.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jordan, for your time. Super great concept. I love it. I already emailed it over to my friend who has close to 1 million followers. I'm like, see if you can get a with this
amazing.
Place.
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely.
I didn't even know it existed. So thank you for coming on here. For everyone here, it'll be available on YouTube later, so you can catch the replay and get some information about Stayamo. What's the best way to get in contact with you?
So we are on Instagram, at Stayamo, Stayamo, or online Stayamo.com, apply. And if you want to reach out, I'm at Jordan@Stayamo.com. If you want any emails or questions, or my personal channels are at Jordan Kahana.
Awesome. Cool. Alex, any parting words?
No, Jordan, I'm trying to grow my Instagram following like yours. You got a large Instagram following. I don't know how to do it.
Uh-huh.
I'm still working on it.
Patience,
So
patience. Yeah, just patience, consistency, and finding the right collaborations, and you'll
Right,
get there.
right. Hey, so thank you so much for joining us. I've been very interested in Stayamo for a while. Next week we have networking night, Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. No real agenda. We're just gonna network, talk real estate or whatever, or shoot the breeze. So
Yeah. All right, everyone. Take care. Have a
Cool.
great night.